right now we're with Antonin Bardot. He's been tattooing for about 3 years.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a year, 2 years at a legacy tattoo. And we're just here to hear your story, hear about how'd you get into the industry and what really keeps you going.
Yeah.
So like a really great question to start, like what does tattooing mean to you?
Tattooing, well, that's a bit of a broad question, but I, to me, I mean, it's a lot of people say, the old concept is like tattoos have to mean something to get it on your body, but I don't really believe in that. I just think people get tattoos because they want to look cool, essentially, in some way. A lot of it, I mean, a lot of it can be meaningful and stuff like that, but for me, it's always been a bit of like almost kind of like vanity in a way, right?
Mm.
Just like you're getting your haircut stuff. It's just body modification. So um yeah, to me, I do it because it's without sounding cliche, it's my dream job. I'm a very creative person and I've been able to, draw essentially what I want on people. Like before I was a tattoo artist, I was a graphic designer for like 5 years, and I was used to, you know, following a brief, following, these timelines and all these different things, and essentially not really designing things that I want to design because you're always following a rule book, right? You're following the client.
Mhm.
Essentially, you're following the client in tattooing as well, but because of the way I put out my stuff and flash and stuff like that, I can draw what I want, and most of the time, someone will snap it up. So that's kind of, yeah, I think the creative freedom really is why I
Yeah,
like
and
to
I
come
see
in.
your profile. I see a lot of the flash you do, and we can talk
Yeah,
about that later, how people snatch that up. But
yeah,
I've never heard that before. Graphic designer to tattoo artist. How did all of that
yeah.
happen?
It's got to stay for me. Yeah, I've always been like creative right from the get go. So
Hmm.
I mean, I would say I've got a little bit of academics behind me, but obviously the creative side is where I kind of went in life. So I left university with a graphic design degree, and then I just went into graphic design because I thought maybe that's kind of like a broad kind of degree to get where I can be creative and just still
Hmm.
have a stable job. But the more I went on with it, basically, I just realized like this is just another office job. Like I don't really want to be in an office. It's not really my vibe. So I always, on the side of that, I always had my Instagram where I did like my drawings with no real like aim to be a tattoo artist, but just
Hmm.
as a place to like put my work out there, either for like freelance illustration or just because I like drawing, just trying to keep the tool sharp, so to speak. And with that, I just kind of built up my Instagram like that, just as an illustrator or just some creative dude.
Hmm.
With like I think I only had like 200 followers or whatever, but I just did it just because I liked it. And then an opportunity came up near me for like a studio looking for not an apprenticeship, just looking for an artist. And since it was close by, I thought I might as well give it a go and just see if they like, if they bite. And so I went down there and showed my portfolio. And 9 times out of 10, you're like, okay, we don't really need you or whatever, or we don't need an apprentice or whatever. But yeah, I guess I got lucky that one time. And I started on like a trial run for like tattooing to see how I get on. And yeah, it was the rest is history, really. That's how it started. So I already had like a lot of drawings and stuff like built up from the past of when I've just been drawing, and a lot of it was all in the same style. So
Hmm.
that looked, I guess that looked good because I already knew what style I wanted to do with tattooing before even starting. Like a lot of tattoo artists, especially when they do their apprenticeship, they're like they don't really know how they want to draw, whether they want to do like traditional or black work or fine line or whatever it is. But for me, it was easier because I just kind of dove straight in with what I wanted to do, like what style I wanted to do. I didn't faff around with trying loads of different things. I'm more of like a one trick pony. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So a lot of things that people, well, one of the mottos that I go by. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but Bruce Lee. He says like, "I don't fear the man that's practiced 1,000 different kicks. I fear the man that's practiced the same kick 1,000 times." It's kind of like
Right.
that with tattooing. It's like if I focus all my energy on one style, I'm going to become just sick at doing that, rather than
Mhm.
being mediocre and like a jack of all trades at everything. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
absolutely. Looking at your profile, it looks very black and gray, black work and patchwork.
Yeah, it's very OCD. I'm very OCD with Instagram.
Okay.
Like a whole tile section and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah.
And so when you were early in your art career, just kind of doing your own drawings, is that
Yeah.
the kind of art you were doing already and ported it directly into the tattoo industry?
Kind of, yeah. Like, I mean, I've obviously kind of fine-tuned things along the way, and I've focused like maybe a bit more kind of like medieval tattoos and stuff now, for example. But the
Mhm.
way the tattoos and the way I did like my drawings in the past, it's always been like, you know, big outlines and like dot work and stuff like that. So I got really good at like, well, really good. I got good enough at like dot work, just doing it on paper because that's how I drew, and I just kind of straight away
Mhm.
turned that onto, yeah, onto humans, I suppose.
See, I love that. You just kind of happened into the space, right? Like you were
Yeah,
saying.
it kind of fitted, all together quite nicely. And I think with like, I wouldn't say it's effortless because obviously, I work a lot. I'm quite booked up. I work about 6 days a week. I'm not talking like full days every day because I'd be
Mhm.
dead. I wouldn't be able to like deal with day sits like back to back. But I work, roughly 5 to 6 days a week. Let's say 1 or 2 days a day. But I think everything like the opportunities have been coming quite naturally, like guest spots and stuff like that, and I guess this and stuff like that, And I'm a big yes man as well, so I'll say yes to a lot of things because I just want all the experiences I can get my hands on.
Yeah, that's a great attitude to have.
Yeah,
Opportunity show up if you agree and you
absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I saw that you've done tons of guest spots. Like, can you talk about that experience? Like going into a new studio, meeting new artists,
Yeah, I
learning from them?
sure. I guess so. Guest spots are always, especially the first time or each time actually, you get a little bit. No, I don't know if it's anxiety or stuff, but it's a normal
Mhm.
thing. It's like kind of walking into a new job, right? You don't know where everything is, stuff like that. Um, so it's normally they reach out to me
Mhm.
and you get invited that way. And I always feel like that's better than me reaching out to them because then they want you to come over. Do you know what
Right.
I mean? I
Mhm.
have reached out to other people before. Like I've done like one guest spot where I really wanted to go to this place, and yeah, they welcomed me, which was nice. But most of the time, it's nice to feel like you're invited or you're wanted. And like I said before, like I love going new places and traveling
Mhm.
and stuff like that and seeing new things. So I'm all for it. But no, it's a really exciting experience. I think the one thing that gets me a guest spot sometimes is knowing how the stencil machine works because everybody's got a different stencil machine. So
Mhm.
it's like printer problems, you know what I mean? That's about like the only thing I get a little bit like you know, anxious about. But it's weird because you get to a guest spot and you're like, oh, this is all new, everything's different. But as soon as you
Right.
start tattooing, um, it's just, you're in the flow state by then. Like it doesn't matter where you are. Well, as long as the place is nice and it's clean and stuff like that, and I'm not like, tattooing in someone's like room, then it's fine. But yeah, once you start tattooing, it's just the same anyway. You just kind of go along for the ride, really.
Yeah, the flow state, you're in your comfort zone, and then it's
Yeah.
just all on the outside.
Yeah, nothing really matters out there as long as like when I'm like focused in on the tattoo, you're like this close, like
Mhm.
nothing really kind of matters around me really. So
Yeah, so I know some artists, they won't do guest spots. They just like their home studio. The studio will get clients for them.
yeah,
What's the motivation for you to do the guest spots? Is it more the traveling? Is it more the art influence?
yeah, I
Do
think
other
I think it's
studios
just
bring you
being
clients?
yeah. I think it's just being a people person because I've got
Mm,
like I'm a studio now at Legacy. We've got like some very like talented artists that are like very well established and stuff like that. And I don't think not many of them do guest spots anymore. They used to,
Right.
stuff like that. But because they're kind of, so rooted in now, they don't really see
Mm.
like the need. But for me, I think I don't, I just like doing guest spots because it's just somewhere new to go. I treat it like a small holiday. And because I'm a people person, I just love meeting new people. So either way, it's a win-win for me, basically. The motivation is having a good time. Just meeting
Yeah.
people and yeah, that kind of thing, seeing what happens really. And obviously the
And
other
a new
artists and stuff like
perspective.
that. Yeah. I
Okay,
get
so
very bored, like just kind of doing the routine thing every day. Like as much as like tattooing is like a cool job and I get to do like, I'm very passionate, I get to draw every day. It still can get samey, you know? And if you speak to a
Mhm.
lot of different artists as well, they'll also say like their favorite thing about tattooing is probably the traveling and that kind of
Yeah,
thing. It keeps it
traveling
exciting.
is great. Mhm.
Yeah.
Keeps it exciting. I hear a lot of artists, they will have gripes about kind of being pigeonholed into their style. They'll say, I'm kind
Yeah.
of doing flash and I'm not allowed to express the kind of style that I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think well, it's different for me because with my style, like I guess essentially I can draw kind of anything as long as I kind of keep it in my style. Um, but I think when you've got a style that people want, when you've
Hmm.
worked that out, um, you'll get the work. Do you know what I mean? There's like so many tattoo artists, especially like here in the UK and stuff like
Sure.
that. There's like corner shop tattoo artists which aren't like, they are good in their own way, but they're not like, let's say, Instagram friendly. They're kind of the run of the mill tattoo shops where you can just go in and get whatever. They're booked as well, like
Hmm.
they've got bookings as well, different people. But yeah, I think getting pigeonholed into one style, I think maybe that's like maybe you need to change your style. Maybe I think if you're not getting like, let's say, if you're not getting the work doing one thing and you've been doing it a long time, either there's things that need to be like ironed out or perfected.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, in my experience talking to these artists, they're in a studio that
Yeah,
specializes in one kind of tattoo that's not aligned with them, but
yeah,
it's just what is accessible. Maybe it's the only studio in the town they're in, or they have to move somewhere new. And
yeah,
so what I'm realizing is there's a lot of opportunity for artists, tattoo artists, to grow
yeah,
online if they promote their style properly. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be supplied to them by the studio. If they can get some personality out there, if they can
yeah,
just present who they are and their
yeah,
particular art in the world, people will be attracted to it. And that's why I
yeah,
reached out to you. I see that on your profile, on the way you're presenting your art. It's like very
yeah,
clean, very honed in on the kind of style that you're trying to do.
yeah.
So, I mean, is there any sort of strategy you have with managing your Instagram, getting clients to reach out with you? Do you have any sort of
So
philosophy around that?
yeah, like I think I'm quite like regimented. Like if you look at
Mhm.
like my Instagram, it is like I said, it's like a tile section, it's like it's quite OCD. And I think on Instagram, it's all aesthetics, isn't it? Obviously you've got to have good tattoos on there, but a lot of the time it's how you take pictures, how everything's set up. It's all about aesthetics. You've got to, draw the people in, right? Everything's like when you look at your feed, you've kind of got to, it's all got to kind of look good, let's say. But in terms of like bringing like clients in and stuff like that, um, like we talked about before, I do a lot of like flash designs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'll post one tattoo and then one flash, and one tattoo, one flash, and just kind of rinse and repeat kind of thing. And yeah, like I wouldn't say I've marketed much. I did maybe like a few ads at the beginning, like I'm
Mhm.
literally maybe I think I've paid for about like 4 or 5 ads, and I'm talking like 20 quid at a time, nothing crazy. Um, and it's just kind of built up from there. And I think what really kind of pushed me out there like recently is the flash, because my flash designs do a lot better than my tattoos sometimes, and it gets shown to like a
Mhm.
lot of people. And I think that's just Instagram's algorithm just kind of showing, just liking them and just showing it to more people. I don't exactly know how it works or whatever, but yeah, that's pretty
I
much
mean, that
it.
was something I was curious about. You do the stencils, you do the flash next to
Yeah,
one of the pieces that you've finished. And
yeah,
I'm curious, how often does someone reach out and say, I want this tattoo? You know, it's a pretty interesting choice to put the stencils up there.
yeah. So like, what, interesting to like get the flash? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I don't. It essentially is just like the stencil that I'm putting up, maybe with a few more like detailed lines that I'll strip back when I do
Mhm.
the stencil. But I feel like it gives people a good enough idea. They look at my style and my other tattoos, and they can kind of see like, oh, okay, that's how it's going to look. Because I like my tattoos like quite dark and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I've thought before of like maybe shading my flash just to show people a bit more of what they're going to get. But I haven't had any issues with people not liking it or asking about it or anything like that. So I've thought to myself, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It looks good on Instagram, and I'm not going to give myself extra work when I could be spending it doing other things,
Mhm.
shading it. So, yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe the contrast between like the tattoos and the flash and stuff works quite well. I don't know. Don't know what
Yeah,
people like.
it looks great. It's something that
Yeah,
I've noticed with tattoo artists who have an Instagram that really does well. It's the
yeah,
actual pictures of the finished pieces itself. It's like
yeah.
very consistent. The lighting is very consistent, and it's
Mm,
aligned with their particular brand.
yeah,
Like yours is very bold, dark, and I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, saying that, like, lighting and thing is a big thing. So I've moved studios. Like, I'm at Legacy now,
Mhm.
but before, I mean, I moved to Legacy last August, and
Okay.
a lot of the tattooists here, they've been around a long time, so they know like a lot of things, and they taught me all these different things of like, lighting and polarizers and stuff like that, and how to make like the photos look really good and stuff like that. So that's, I've learned a lot of like tricks on how to like make stuff look professional, I guess.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are some of the tricks?
Some of the
And
tricks, well, I don't know if it's
yeah.
like, it's not really a trick, because I'm sure loads of other studios do it like the same way, but you have like, the polarizer filters that you put like on your camera, and then you have the special light, which also has like a polarizer film on it or something that
Mhm.
works with it. And you see Instagram ads, I've seen Instagram ads come up about this before, like, people trying to sell like the set that comes together to take like how to take a picture of your tattoo so it looks like this, blah, blah, blah. That's basically what it is. But they've been doing it for like, I don't know, like years and years, basically. Like one of the guys here is like a photographer and stuff like that, who's been, well, pretty much doing photography since school as well as tattooing. So he knows a lot about like that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, in terms of tips and tricks, that's pretty much it. It's just kind of getting the right equipment and everything just to take good pictures and stuff like that. And also, uniform. It has to all be kind of like uniform. So we have, I take a lot of my pictures with like a white background or something like that,
Right.
because it makes the black stand out more and stuff like that with the polarizer, and gets rid of all the glare. But then again, if you look back through my Instagram, I only learned these like little things like coming here. So at the place before, the tattoos will look a little bit different and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So it's kind of trying to keep everything uniform. That's the main thing, and it can't always be, you know.
Yeah, but like getting your photography on point, putting in
Yeah,
that after you finish the piece when you just want to chill to get
yeah,
a good photo. Because
yeah,
something I'll do for tattoo artists is I'm saying, hey, I'll come in, I'll take your old work and I'll do all the editing, I'll like revamp the Instagram,
yeah,
and I can put their finished pieces through Photoshop and all these photo editors.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The setup, the lighting in the background isn't good to start. So there's
yeah,
only a little bit that I can do.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, yeah. No, that makes like the good quality picture is definitely the most important thing to begin with. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of most tattooists put their stuff through like filters and stuff like that. I don't know anybody who like photoshops them, but you know, get rid of some saturation for like Instagram and stuff like that. unless like for me it's perfect because I do black and gray, so I can trim it down a bit just for like aesthetics for Instagram and kind of thing. Um, yeah,
That's awesome. So I
yeah,
know a lot of artists are keen to the photography game. They
mm,
understand they be taking photos of the work that they've done.
yeah,
What about the other parts of getting clients in the door? Are you doing any sort of list building? Are you maintaining relationships with people that get tattooed by you? Or is the
yeah.
studio handling all of that?
Yeah, I think honestly, I mean, I get a lot of like repeat clients and stuff like that as well. So
Mhm.
I think like we were talking before, me being like a people person,
Sure.
like everybody seems to be comfortable coming to me. So I make everybody feel
Mhm.
comfortable and stuff, and I can chat away, but I can also shut the fuck up if I need to. If someone's not, I'll read the room basically. But yeah, people feel comfortable coming to me, and I think that paired with like the style that I do kind of brings people in. And yeah, like if I've met like a client like a few times and stuff like that, like sometimes we will get chatting on Instagram, or I'll catch up with them, asking them how much like if how their tattoo's healing, for example, things like that. They might send me some memes or whatever, but it's kind of you're kind of staying like there, like in their mind maybe a little bit. That's not a tactic for me to get like clients, but it's just
Sure.
naturally what I do. I like chatting to people. So
Hmm.
I think that just like if you're approachable, you know once they're in the
Hmm.
door, obviously you've got to get them in the door first, but if they can see that you're approachable, that might sway them a little bit. And that's one of the reasons
Yeah.
I'm trying to like get my face out on Instagram a bit more and stuff like that, just to kind of show people like who I am. I mean, it's all well and good doing all the tattoos and stuff like that, and at first that is the most important thing, but I want to show people a bit of like my personality and stuff like that. But that's sometimes hard because I don't want to do anything cringe, so
Sure. 100%. I
yeah,
mean, the accounts that I see that have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers,
yeah,
artists are always sharing their personality. And sure,
yeah,
some are crazy, they'll do skits, but I've seen other ones where the artist just says, I had this piece come in, here's how I drew it, here's how it ended up, and here's
yeah,
my, because it's like my idea is that getting a tattoo is like really personal. It's
yeah,
really intimate, and people want to have that connection with their tattoo artist.
yeah,
The more you put yourself out there and they know who's doing the tattooing, the more likely it is they're going to get it with you.
yeah,
And they would much rather do it with someone they're familiar with than just one of the corner shops.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it
And
makes a
it
lot of
sounds
sense.
like you're really building that connection when they're there in the chair. When they walk in the shop, you're really getting to build
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I hope so. I hope people like me. That'd be nice.
I mean, dude, you are in a great field if you love talking to people.
Yeah, literally.
Right? If
But
you're introverted, tattooing is going to be tough.
yeah, yeah, it definitely keeps me going a bit. And also, the studio here is like it's great. Everybody's like not just like friends as like colleagues,
Mm.
but like best friends outside of work. So we all like venture off and like do things together and like invite each other over and go out together and stuff like that, which I think is really important because it doesn't feel like it feels like you're coming to work with your best bros, every day kind of thing.
Yeah. And
And
I mean, I'm
like,
sure that helps your
yeah,
creativity. It helps with your energy, helps
for
keep get
sure.
people excited to come into the shop.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've noticed that some tattoo shops, they don't have that same vibe. It's more of just a workplace.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I want to talk to more artists and do what I can for the culture. Because it's such
Yeah.
a great space and I want to help out to avoid
Yeah.
that from happening.
For sure. I definitely think it depends on the people because I've worked in shops before. It's kind of like you said, just kind of more just tattoo turn up and it's more, excuse me, a job to them. And it
Mhm.
is. I mean, we've got to make our life with it, but I have a lot more fun interacting and making friends at the same time. But that's just me, you know.
So it sounds like you'll be in the industry for a while. You're not leaving in
Well, I
anytime
hope
soon.
so, unless I break my hands or something, but I'll be all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years? Do you see any trends emerging?
um, honestly, I've been thinking about this a while. I think it's probably going to be. cooler to not have tattoos at some point.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because so many people are getting tattoos. Yeah. It's all right, mate. Come on, come on. It's all good. Don't worry about me. Sorry, 1 second.
No worries.
It's all good. Yeah, I think it's sorry, the toilet's like literally right there. So I did say, like, you know, there might be people coming up, but yeah. So what was I saying again?
Oh, I was saying trends in the industry.
Okay, yeah. So I
Maybe
said,
people won't be
like,
getting
I mean,
tattoos.
tattoos are always going to be cool, right? But because so many people are getting tattoos, there's not many people left, like especially like in the UK and stuff like that, that are like just bare skin.
Mm.
So I don't want to say the trend will be like no tattoos, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really like kind of good at reading trends. Really, I never really think about it that much. I kind of just do what I want, and it seems to be working so far. Like people
Okay,
seem to
you're
like it.
staying in flow state.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Just keep drawing and keep kind of working on my style and stuff like that. And like we said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I try not to like follow trends and stuff like that. That's not me trying to sound big headed or anything like that, but you know, making like TikToks or like all these like, you know, little reels with like the trending songs and stuff like that. I just get a bit cringed out by it all sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because what I always learn is that it's not like what I've always been taught is like you make your own trends up, right? You start
Right.
something new because you don't want to copy everybody else and stuff like that. But obviously, on a lot of social media and platforms, that's kind of what you have to do sometimes, you know,
Sure. So
to get the
what's been
views.
happening over the past couple of years is
Mm.
everyone's producing this same kind of over the top content.
Yeah,
It's edited, it's, the sounds and the dances, whatever. So
yeah,
what people are starting to value now is just the authenticity. It's just the trust. They want someone to come out and be their authentic self.
yeah,
Like that's where YouTube is going now. People will just sit and talk for an hour.
yeah.
No
All the vlogs and
nation,
stuff like
no
that.
titles. It's just the message and that person. And I
Yeah,
think it's really exciting and one of the reasons why I'm out here talking to artists.
yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And so, I mean, let's wrap it up here. Where can
Mm-hmm.
people find you if they're watching this?
Just on Instagram, Bardot Tattoos, Bardot underscore tattoos. Give me a follow. Check it out. Follow me if you don't. You don't have to. Don't care really. I'm doing fine by myself. Just saying.